Let's open up the user manual for the most complex, most powerful machine you will ever own, your own mind. For the next few minutes, we're going to explore how it all works, and we'll do it using one simple, really powerful analogy.
I mean, have you ever just stopped and thought about it? You think, you remember, you feel, but what is actually going on in there? How does this invisible world of thought even happen? It's a question people have been asking for, well, forever.
Okay, so here's the core idea for our entire explainer today. Just think of your brain as the physical hardware. You know, the circuits, the wiring, the stuff you could actually hold. Now, your mind, that's the software. It's the operating system that runs on that hardware. It's all the invisible processes and thoughts that actually bring that physical brain to life.
So, if the mind is the software, what's its core programming called? I mean, it must have a name, right? Well, that brings us right to our first key idea. That operating system, the whole shebang, is called cognition. It's kind of a fancy word, but all it means is everything your mind does. It's the software that's letting you understand my voice right now, remember what you ate for breakfast, and decide what you're going to do after this. And the science dedicated to basically reverse engineering this incredible software, that's cognitive psychology. It's the field where scientists try to figure out the code behind our thoughts, feelings, and actions. But here's the thing. For a long time, scientists had a huge problem. They could see the hardware, the brain, and they could see what it did, but they had absolutely no way of looking at the software itself.
For a huge chunk of the 20th century, a field called behaviorism was king. And behaviorists basically treated the mind like a black box. They said, look, we can't see thoughts or feelings, so let's not even try. Let's just focus on what we can see, the inputs and the outputs.
And you can probably guess, this approach had a massive blind spot. So behaviorism would see the input, let's say someone says something mean to you, and it would see the output. You snap back with an angry comment. But it completely ignored the most important part, what happened inside that black box. The thought, the feeling, the interpretation that actually caused you to react that way.
So eventually, researchers had this big aha moment. They realized you can't possibly understand why people do what they do if you ignore the code, the thought processes that's running in their minds. It just doesn't work.
This led to a huge shift in thinking. In the middle of the 20th century, right as computers were becoming a thing, the cognitive revolution kicked off. Scientists finally said, okay, it's time. Let's pop the hood and actually start mapping out the mind's software. So, what did they find when they finally looked inside? Well, they discovered that our mental operating system isn't just one single program. It's more like a whole suite of powerful, interconnected applications. Yeah, you can think of these as the core apps on your mental smartphone. You've got perception, which takes all the raw data from your senses and actually makes sense of it. You've got memory, your storage and retrieval system. But get this, it's not like a perfect recording. It's more like a Wikipedia page that you can accidentally edit a little bit every time you open it. Then there's attention, which decides where to point your limited processing power. And of course, you have your language and problem-solving apps. But here's the really cool part. Unlike the apps on your phone, these mental programs are all deeply connected. Your perception influences what you pay attention to, what you pay attention to affects what you remember, and your memory shapes how you solve problems in the future. They are all talking to each other all the time. This all sounds great, right? But it brings us back to that original problem. How in the world do you study software you can't actually see? How do psychologists look at these invisible processes? Well, they've come up with some incredibly clever ways. They run experiments in labs, measuring things like how fast you react to something on a screen, to see how quickly your mental software is working. They use brain imaging, like fMRIs, to literally watch the hardware light up as it runs different programs. They even go out and just watch people in the real world and build computer models to simulate how our thinking might work. All this research has taught us so much, but it's also shown us just how unbelievably complex our mental software really is. And it's left us with some huge, fascinating puzzles that researchers are still trying to crack today. First off, there's a big question about our whole computer analogy. I mean, is it perfect? The human mind isn't just a cold, logical machine. It feels, it has emotions. So where do they fit in? Are emotions a fundamental part of the code, or are they something else entirely that just can't be programmed? Then you've got the classic debate, nature versus nurture. How much of our cognitive software comes pre-installed from our genetics, and how much of it gets written by our experiences, our culture, and our environment as we grow up? It's a question as old as psychology itself.
And what about all the stuff that's just running in the background? You know, how much of your thinking are you actually aware of? Turns out, a huge amount of what our mind does, from recognizing a friend's face to driving a car, happens completely unconsciously, on autopilot. Understanding that divide is a massive frontier. And you know what? That's what makes this whole field so exciting. These aren't failures or limitations. They are the great unsolved mysteries that are driving science forward. Every single day, we're getting just a little bit closer to truly understanding our own operating system.
So the next time you remember a name, or solve a little puzzle, or just look at the world around you, stop and take a moment. Ask yourself, what piece of my own amazing software is running right now? Because understanding the manual, that's the first step to becoming a power user of your own mind.